You see, all my life I've been taught that understanding women was something that you just simply need to accept is just not going to be possible to do. And you see, the truth is, most men actually think women are unpredictable, impossible to understand, and confusing. Women are actually very predictable, very, very understanding if you know what to look for. You see, what I'm going to break down in this video is the language they actually speak, which is not English. I will discover the English that they speak by the end of this video. I'm going to break down the process so that you can understand how to actually understand women, attract, and really build meaningful connections so that you can move yourself to the next stage of life without overthinking everything. Have you ever thought, why do women say one thing and mean another? I'm fine means we've got very serious problems that I don't want to talk about. Sounds familiar? Why do they test men at all times? You're not alone. Most guys, in fact, my own mother told me that women will test you. Most guys struggle to understand women because they focus on words instead of emotions. They focus on words instead of actions. But you see, once you learn these key insights, everything changes. Men communicate through words. Women, most women, communicate through emotions. A woman in a high feminine energy is highly emotional. Highly. And what that means is her main source of communication will be, I am loyal to my emotions, so I am going to communicate how I feel. And it's your job to make sure that I feel protected in how I feel. Can you see how that's completely different from how men see it, which is, I say what I say because that's what I want to say, right? In our head, it feels easier, but in women's perception, it feels like, wait, why don't you address your emotions? They're just as important, which is true. But this is why we go into this tangent where masculine energy is logical, decisive, and feminine energy shows empathy and compassion. The compassion that women basically now look at us and think, why are they not empathetic? Why are they not expressing their emotion? And men are looking at them like, why are they not being as logical or, cutthroat as I am? So, prime example is, I've mentioned it before, I'm going to mention it again, is I'm fine. Those words do not mean I'm fine. And if you don't know that by now, if you walk away as soon as she says I'm fine, there's something wrong with you. But here's what it means. It means that she either has an issue with you, she has an issue with someone. The problem is she's unsettled. I'm fine equals unsettled at all times. Just take that with, honestly, it saves you time, especially with the facial expressions. Remember, what they say and how they feel are two complete different things, because they don't want to get you involved in their own personal instigation. They're having an internal conversation. As weird as it sounds, I promise you that's what's going on in the best way possible. Women, number two, women are attracted to value and not just looks or money. You see, this is where my job, the reason why I still have a job, comes in. You may be rich, you may be handsome, but they're looking for a man of value. So if you are handsome but you don't know how to carry yourself, if you're rich but have no confidence, if you're neither and have nothing, you're not visible, right? So confidence, leadership, ambition, emotional control, these are things that every woman would love to see in a man. Well, most women. except for maybe a scarce few that I just simply can't account for. But I'm talking about the majority of women that I like dealing with, which I'd like to say is never mind. My point is, most women would like to deal with someone that has the ability to lead, the ability to control their emotions, and the ability to be confident and make them feel secure. So instead of chasing and over pursuing and overcompensating for the fact that you're not showing them the traits that they would like to see in the ideal man that they want to be with, how about you position yourself and make yourself visible? What do I mean by that? Position yourself in a way that allows them to see it for themselves, because then that just means you don't have to convince them. That's what we call marketing. So it's like sales and marketing, right? Sales is the hard work. You're speaking to people, you're on the phone and say, listen, man, this is the best opportunity of your life. Listen, let me tell you something. You take on this opportunity, I can guarantee nothing's gonna change. Marketing is click link in bio, bang, board the course, right? So my point here is, you start off with sales, but you want to venture into marketing, because marketing is when they come to you, okay? And that's because you position yourself. So market yourself well, in other words. Number 3, women test men to see if they're strong. So be as strong as possible, so that you have to be tested. That is beautiful. Now, what do I mean by that? The last time I was tested, it's actually been a while. The last time I recognized I was going to be tested was the last time I said, I don't even say I'm going to be strong. That's not the word. I'm going to understand how to navigate my emotions. But because I'm able to navigate my emotions, I can use my vulnerability as a strength. I can use my weakness as a power move. I can use my strength as a weakness. I can use my kindness as a way to show compassion, right? These are all traits that I developed as I understood the power of managing my emotions. So imagine your emotion are this inventory, learn how to manage them so that you can learn how to navigate. It's like you're in the sea and your boat is, saddling along, right? Unless you take charge of that boat, you're going to go in whatever this direction you're swayed. And imagine women are coming in, they're testing to see if the boat is safe. They're going to kick it, stretch it, and you name it, right? They're going to test it. They want to test it. So when they test it, make sure you're bulletproof. Make sure you're sound, right? And that only comes from internal work on yourself. You got to work on yourself. Like, I cannot stress this enough. You've got to work on yourself, especially if you're dealing with trauma from the past, you're dealing with insecurities, you're dealing with just challenges that you haven't overcome yet, or any sort of issue like life's throwing at you. You've got to deal with that, and you've got to utilize that to become a better person, right? Once you implement emotions, once you implement actions, they become much easier to understand, because you now understand that. I actually got this from A Way of a Superior Man and my personal experience, but A Way of a Superior Man explains I was mentioning before, the masculine and feminine energy, which isn't necessarily attached to the sex of the person, because you could have a feminine man, like most men nowadays, and you can have a masculine woman, like most women nowadays, because of the lack of feminine. It's like, put it this way, it's like a bar, right? And it has to be 100%. So in order for it to match, if the woman's 80%, then she's going to find a 20% man, right? But if you as a man want to be at 80%, then that means you need to find a 20% woman. I don't know if that's making sense, but in other words, you've got to find what allows you to feel how you want to feel based on the energy you carry. Okay. So, again, very simple video. I just want you guys to understand this so that when you go out there, you've got a much better chance at securing the actual woman you want to secure. And not just that, but you get to understand how they actually speak. Because the truth of the matter is, until I was able to understand this, oh boy, I struggled. I struggled differently. In fact, like I said at the start, I thought that I was just destined not to understand that, full stop, because It's like they were speaking, I was speaking English and they were speaking Russian. And that's how you got to see it. So whenever they're speaking, you need to acknowledge that they're speaking from a different world that you're not familiar with. So you have to accept, embrace, and understand, and listen to learn, right? What I will also say is, just make it a practice to practice listening and apprehending and showing with communication skills that you're there for them. A lot of times solutions are not the problem, because we do that all the time. I'm guilty myself, especially with my wife. Every single time there's a problem, okay, cool, this is how we fix it, right? Because as a guy, that's what you want to do. You want to fix the problems, right? But what they want to do sometimes, which is what I learned, is sometimes you just need to acknowledge. Sometimes you just need to say, you know what, I acknowledge how you feel, and it's cool, I hear it, you know? So if this video has helped you understand a bit more, I can go into maybe like a deeper part 2 of this, where, because it can be very intriguing. I'll be honest, it took me a lot more than just one video to understand this, but overall these 3 points can give you like a quick overview of what's actually going on, so that you can understand what steps to take and where to look. So I'm pointing you in the right direction so that you can drive your boat. All right, I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.